Is VR about to go mainstream for gaming with the release of the Oculus Quest 2? In this video, I'll talk about what it means to go mainstream, why VR hasn't so far, and why it could be time for you to get into VR. We'll also take a look at the upcoming VR games that could help make it happen. All this coming now. Hello and welcome to the VRCauldron. Before we begin, if you're in need of a VR buddy or need any help or advice, I'm here for you. So make sure you hit that subscribe and bell button and stick around for the chat. It's absolutely free, and if you're not convinced, try to find a comment that I haven't replied to, unless I've been asleep. Give me time to wake up. So thanks to all the people that have joined the party so far. I love the chat so much, and I love that we're growing this little VR channel together. I was amazed how well the last video did, as I really didn't expect it. That was really down to everyone who left a like and a comment, so thank you so much. Anyway, enough ass licking.
Jesus Christ.
In we go.
So we're setting a goal. We want to get 1 billion people in virtual reality.
Depending on who you are, this man is either destroying VR or he's the saviour. We can talk about Facebook accounts all day long. In fact, I've made quite a few videos about it already. This one isn't one of those. Let's rewind. On August the 1st, 2012, Oculus VR launched the Kickstarter for the Oculus Rift Development Kit 1, or DK1 for short. It raised $2.4 million, which was nearly 10 times their original target of $250,000. It was obvious that there was an audience for VR. In 2014, Facebook saw this potential and purchased Oculus for
$100 billion.
No, $2 billion. That was 6 years ago. So why aren't we all running around the streets trying to find Easter eggs then? Well, for a start, the Oculus Rift was a head-mounted display that relied on the computing power of a powerful PC. Now, typically these cost upward of $1,000 or pounds, coupled with the typical price of a headset being about £400 minimum. That's quite a lot of money to spend on a gaming system. You'd need some pretty awesome games to justify that kind of expenditure. Well, there was the other problem. The much cheaper and simpler to use consoles have hundreds of great games. VR does not. Yes, you got a PC as part of the bargain, but the console already did what the PC did, just with a little less detail. Sadly, VR experiences on the whole just weren't compelling enough for the masses to spend that kind of money on. They also look worse due to the extra power needed to get a decent image inside the headset. Released in 2016, the first consumer Oculus Rift, the CV1, had a resolution of 2160 by 1200. That's more than full HD, but games were plagued by the infamous screen door effect. The best way to help you understand what that is if you put your face right in front of your TV. You can see that grid of black lines that's invisible when you're sitting on your couch. Well, VR takes a high resolution display but magnifies it so it fills your vision. That means magnifying the pixels too, as well as the black grid, so it looks like a screen door. Yeah, one of them. I always thought it had something to do with submarines for some reason. Over the next few years, VR headsets increased in resolution, the lenses got better, and more games were adapted for VR. People marvelled as they raced inside their car, and they looked at space from inside their own ship. It was amazing. So why are people still not buying? Well, part of the reason is that VR was a bit of a joke due to releases like the Virtual Boy from Nintendo that gave everyone the wrong idea of what virtual reality was.
It came from the third dimension with its own brain, its own voice, its own legs. There's only one problem.
Also, the VR units of the early 90s were huge things that you couldn't buy and that didn't look too great. Even now, people think that VR users look ridiculous. The other problem was the phone VR market. Back in 2014, before the first consumer Rift, the Google Cardboard was released. Coming in a flat pack, you could create a head-mounted display out of, you guessed it, cardboard. Costing only a few pounds, after folding it together and popping in a couple of plastic lenses, people could slide in their phone and have their own VR device. I actually loved it. VR was something I really wanted to get into for a long time, so to finally be able to experience it was really cool.
Whoa, this is so cool.
For a week. There were a few experiences and rooms to look around, but nothing there to keep you going back for a long period of time. After cardboard came the plastic versions that cost a little more. They were everywhere from supermarkets to petrol stations, promising the amazing VR experience, and people actually bought them, and people got bored because they were crap. I personally love my Gear VR, but it wasn't really for games. It had games, but they were usually short and lacked replayability.
It's moving away from me. Come back, come back, come back.
Also, some of the first readily available experiences were horror, roller coasters, and giant swings. The people had tried VR. The people did not want to vomit or shit themselves. The people went back to their consoles. Then, in 2019, Oculus released the Quest, the first standalone gaming VR headset. For £399 or dollars, people could finally get into VR at console prices. It did amazingly well. Devs reported that games on the Quest easily outsold their PC counterparts. It has sold around 1 million units, though we don't have official figures, and surely that is a definite success. So now people are running around chasing Easter eggs. Well, not quite. It sold 1 million. That's great. But guess what else sold 1 million? The Coleco Telstar. Remember that? Nope. Same here. I've only ever seen it on retro gaming documentaries. It's basically a console released just to play Pong, and not even original Pong. It was a rip-off of Pong. It sold 1 million and no one's ever heard of it. Safe to say, not mainstream.
With digital scoring, variable speeds, Telstar Hockey. Each player controls a goalie plus a forward on the other side. Oops, a goal.
So what does VR need to do to become mainstream? It's estimated that sales of VR gaming headsets, so not phone or cardboard based, have reached about 5.5 million. To put that into perspective, that's about the same as the TurboGrafx 16 console or the PC Engine in Europe or Japan. Haven't heard of that one either? Okay, so not mainstream. I admit I'd heard about this one as a youngster, but I always thought it was the thing inside my computer. The first really mainstream console was probably the Atari 2600. That sold about 22 million in the 7 years before Nintendo started smashing it in the mid-80s. Ever since then, console sales have hugely increased all the way to an unmatched PlayStation 2 at 157 million units sold. No one expects the Quest 2 to do anywhere near those kind of numbers. The Xbox One sold around 50 million, and that was considered a failure, but that was due to the success of its direct competitor, the PS4, and the Xbox 360 of the previous generation. So the lowest mainstream console figures are about 20 million. Could VR as a whole do that? Well, Mark Zuckerberg wants to sell 10 million Quest 2s, and people doubt that it can be done, given the Quest 1 only sold 1 million. But remember, the Quest 1 has been out of stock for a long time over the last half a year, until I accidentally bought 2 back in June. Bloody Wi-Fi. Personally, I think it can be done based on 2 factors. There are nearly 3 billion active Facebook users. We all know that Facebook are the ad targeting specialists. Some people think that Facebook needs to run a load of TV ads. Well, maybe that would help. But if they made a load of video ads, they can sneak them into the feeds of Facebook users. I felt the ads for the first Quest were very good at giving people the gist of the VR experience. Do the same again, and if they sell to 1 in 300 people on Facebook, then they have their 10 million. Remember, they don't have to sell it the first time a user sees the ad either. Most likely, they'll see it multiple times until it seeps into their consciousness. And like many things, the more people that get it, the more people see it, and the more people want it. The other factor that will help VR take off is the game library. It's no good to have the one killer game like Space Invaders or Super Mario Brothers. As time goes on, people want more, and when the PS1 launched and I knew Tekken, Ridge Racer, Destruction Derby, Battle Arena Toshinden and Wipeout were coming with it, I knew I had to have one. I never got one. VR has had Beat Saber and Super Hot for a while now. They're really good, but they kind of look a bit rubbish to your average gamer. We need those big budget Half-Life Alyx style epic adventures that make gamers think, wow, I want to be in there. I am happy to say that they've been slowly coming too. Asgard's Wrath, Lone Echo, Boneworks, Saints and Sinners, they're all great, and there's a load of other games too like Pavlov VR, Blade and Sorcery, and so many more. But the problem is your average gamer doesn't care about them. Pavlov is great, but it sounds like a psychology experiment. VR needs franchises, and I'm happy to say they are coming. We've got a new Jurassic Park game, a Star Wars game, Assassin's Creed is coming to VR, Splinter Cell, the Medal of Honor game, we're getting a Walking Dead based on the TV show, and a Warhammer 40,000 game. These are the kinds of games that are going to get the average gamer excited. And those games really need to be shoved in the average gamer's face. Facebook also own Instagram. Get them on there too. At $2.99, I believe that Facebook can sell well over 10 million as long as the games keep coming. Players bring developers, and developers bring players. They're like Gungans and Nabooians. Away from the games, there's also the fun novelty factor of being able to push your dad off a plank. It's the same as when grannies were playing Wii Sports, only not as dangerous.
Oh,
We've even still got our Wii.
There it is.
When we got it, it made the perfect second console that we pretty much got just so we could wave our arms around. The Quest 2 could be the next Wii. Kids can still have their consoles, but they might as well get a Quest for Christmas. Then there's the fact that you can get rid of your gym membership. VR is absolutely amazing for exercise. Now I just need the virtual food that has no calories. VR is a great social experience too.
Oh, God. Bin again.
And you'll even be able to go to the cinema. And on Quest 2, it's going to look great. But it's not all about the Quest 2. This isn't meant to be a Quest 2 advert. This is about VR. Some people don't want the Facebook account, and I totally get that. It does mean that at the moment you won't be able to do mobile VR because Facebook are the only ones doing it. But there are some really great PC VR only headsets now. The Valve Index is great but expensive at $1,000. And the Reverb G2, which is meant to be out any day now, looks absolutely stunning. Sadly, these aren't going to be the headsets that get most people into VR, but they might be the headsets people turn to after getting the bug, after experiencing the new Gateway VR experience in the Quest 2. So here I am in September 2020, and despite the fact that we can't demo VR and have VR parties because of bloody COVID, I'm going to put it out there on my small YouTube VR channel and say that Christmas 2020 will be the Christmas that VR started its real mainstream journey. If you're still here and you've been thinking about getting into VR, now is your time. The Quest 1 was a great VR console, and the Quest 2 is going to be even better. And if you ever get a gaming PC, it will do PC VR really well too. If you're still undecided, I'll be getting mine in October, so I will be testing the crap out of it. You don't have to pre-order anything because I'm pretty sure Mr. Zuckerberg won't be making the same out-of-stock mistakes as before. As for the games, if you want to get a rundown of all the big titles coming to Quest, I can heartily recommend Steve Knows VR. He's recently done one and it is a really good list. And that's it from me for now. If you enjoyed that, then feel free to hit that thumbs up button. And if you want that VR banter, then don't forget to subscribe. I've been Al. Thanks for watching the VR Cauldron. Take care of yourselves. And I hope to see you next time. See ya!